live. Welcome to New Comic Book Day, and this is the Comic Core Unlimited show for Wednesdays. We got the usual crew here, plus one, right above me in the top corner square. If you are going for Connect 4 here, you need the Drew Manchu joining us tonight, the guy who is dropping some serious reviews here on the Comic Core channel, which if you haven't checked out, you are missing.
Yes, probably one of the best things on the channel in a long time.
Fanning to Drew. Hello, Drew. How you doing, Drew?
Oh, I'm just kicking it like a fat rat in a cheese fat. Wait, that's not my line.
Hey.
Shit. No, I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing pretty darn good. I've been putting out some content, putting in some work, and having a good time doing it. Having some fun figuring some things out technically, and it's been fulfilling. And I'm going to keep doing it for a little while. Expect to see some of those on the weekdays on the Comic Core channel.
I love that room show you did for a while. That was good too.
I don't have the ability to go live on a regularly scheduled basis.
Mm-hmm.
Based on work, I was like, hey, yeah, I'm off every Wednesday. I'll start going live on Wednesdays. And then I worked like 7 Wednesdays in a row. I'm like, this isn't my schedule. Why am I doing this?
Gotcha.
And then, of course, we have the usual members for our Comic Core Unlimited. We've got to my side here, this guy. Where is he? He's over here. Jason, Comics Misexplained. How you doing, man?
Doing good. How about you guys? Glad to be here.
What do you got there behind you tonight?
This is the newest album from Sleep. Album's called Sciences. But this is the first pressing green color edition. I think sold out immediately when it came out. I want to say that probably goes for 120, 150 now, I think. It might have lowered since recently, but yeah, it's been pressed to hell now. But yeah, it's a good album.
Well, I've been always saying I could use some sleep, so.
Yeah, dude. Same.
And then right up here in the top corner, we've got JD, the Golden Guy. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How's everybody doing out there? Really cool. Yeah. Saw that album, Jason. I was at a vinyl place this past Friday. I was sending him a lot of messages from there. Man, that would have been your that would be your Yeah, it's a bar they own now. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. They
awesome.
actually are
amazing. I really want to go there.
It's a monster theme bar downstairs, serious monster theme. I'm gonna do a video on that, and then upstairs is all vinyl.
That's so sick. I love that label, Jurassic Plastic.
Total,
my work.
Yeah, you have to.
My work carries a lot of stuff from them. They produce a lot of punk albums and goth albums too, but a lot of stuff mainly the 80s on 200 gram. Usually albums are a 180 gram for the heavy thick black vinyl version. The heavier the vinyl, it sounds better. They have 200 gram as opposed to 180. So that's really cool. Their color vinyl treatments are really awesome too, and they're usually small pressings too of around I think 100 or 1500 or maybe even less too. So I recommend Jurassic Plastic stuff. It's a great label. Yeah. That's awesome. I really want to go there.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. So other than that, having fun, enjoying to be here on Unlimited.
What better place to be on a new comic book day? And I'll tell you, I went a little crazy today, so I'm super excited to get to the reading list. Before we do that, though, I want to shout out the chat. There are some awesome people tailgating right off the bat. White Whale Comics and Caleb were in there early, along with Jason and I having a little chat. Chris Barrett, who is a huge part of the comic community, always in chats, always there making jokes, always there participating. And sorry to hear White Whale Comics is stuck in the airport. His flight back from Boston, Massachusetts back to Florida has been delayed. That sounds painful and frustrating. We also have
Airport
Harry Comics. What's that?
Sorry. So I love airport beers. Airport beers are the best beers.
Ugh.
They are good beers.
Yeah, there's nothing like a $48 Coors Light.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm always I don't have to go anywhere. I know where I have to be. I can just do whatever I want. It's my free time. Same thing when I'm on the plane. Just load up your iPad with tons of comics. You know what I mean? It's your time. Bunch of albums. Just do nothing. Just relax. I love hanging out in airports and airplanes.
I drink a lot
Jason's
of
a different kind of traveler.
That's the airport move. You drink in the airport, you drink on the plane, you drink in the next airport before you get to the bar. That's the way. I mean, come on.
Yep.
Traveling now is all about, I need to drink.
I want to shout out Perry Comics in the chat, #lurking. He has started a series of videos where he goes around watching other members of the community. I'll tell you, it is surprisingly riveting.
It's awesome. I love it.
I've
Yeah, I
always
watched for
super
about a half
entertained by
hour
it.
last night while I was falling asleep.
And on top of it, what I love about it is he's going around subbing up channels, commenting on people's videos, interacting. It's incredibly community oriented, and so shout out to Perry Comics. Let's see, we got JP Budget Collecting. Patrick is in the chat as well. DS Comics from the Golden Guys is in there. Squatchy Sam I Am. Brandon Stawinski's in the chat. Jack Yo, JLS Comics, ALD, and Dennis Haynes, Vu Hong. There's a whole crew of people partying here. Caleb says he got stuck in Chicago O'Hare for a 7-hour layover and got old. I took a nap in the Brookstone on a massage chair.
That's legit, Caleb.
That's a professional move.
How we doing?
Well, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go first. I usually don't go first in book club, but I got a ton of books today.
Yeah, you
For
did. I
me.
saw those Instagram pictures, dude.
I rarely buy more than like 5 books.
Yeah,
I bought 10 comics today.
Yeah, you're in a safe place, very safe place.
So I didn't buy a lot of DC, but I did buy the new Lois Lane, the Dave Rucka storyline. I'm really enjoying this. This second issue was solid, just like issue 1. I love Renee Montoya as the Question, and she kicks some serious butt in this one. So I am very pumped to see Renee Montoya and Lois Lane together, espionage, all that kind of stuff. I dig this book a bunch. So solid second issue there. I don't know how many Daredevil fans are in this group, but this is continuing to be a very solid run. Chip Zdarsky is doing very well here. Everybody was specking on this. I did not see the value in a spec, but as far as just a really good read, definitely a solid book. People were saying all kinds of like shocking things were going to be revealed, and I didn't find that at all. Although there was a pretty hot sex scene at the end. Let's just leave it at that. Obviously, Marvel's most consistent book, it dropped again today. Immortal Hulk felt more like a filler book, not like one of the better ones. It sort of was a reaction to the previous book where there was a lot of like violence and shocking twists. So
Final panel, though.
yes, it had a very good ending, but again, a filler, a setup for what'll be 23 to 25 to finish it out. I had to get both copies of Die. I have never put a comic on my pull list and asked them to pull both covers before, but I'm doing it for Die from here on out.
I'm hearing that this particular issue is the most sought after. This is the going crazy. Like I went into the, I called my LCS, said, hey, I'm not going to make it in today, whatever. What's everybody getting? Get that. What about Die? And he goes, do you want Die? I said, no, I'm all right. And he goes, you should get it. I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay. They never do that there.
I'm a huge fan, and like I said, I never put a comic and asked both covers to be on my pull list. I know I used to do like the Batman Superman run. I was getting the Michael Turner covers and then occasionally buying the Jim Lee as well. But this is the only one I've ever said, I just want both. Just give me both the full time. They're just all so great. This cover is fire, though. This dragon cover is insane. And it was a really good issue setting up what will really be the second half of this first story arc. And I'm excited to see where it goes. Yeah, Stephanie Hans is the beast, Caleb. I fully agree with that. I grabbed Old Man Quill, but I'm saving it for dessert. This is going to be the last book I read because I've loved this run. And issue 7, the one right before this,
yeah, dude,
is the best comic I've still read in 2019. Issue 7 of Old Man Quill is fire. Like the fight sequences, the twists, diving into a destroyed Baxter building to the sub basement that's surrounded by Morlocks and just having to fight them off with the Fantastic Four's broken helicopter. It was an insane ride.
And then the reveal at the end, you're like, what?
Oh my God. It is so freaking good. So I'm saving issue 8. I don't know if it'll be as good as I hope, but it can't be. It hasn't disappointed yet. Jason Aaron's Sea of Stars. I grabbed issue 2. So I'm excited to read that. I have not read this one yet. That's one of the ones I haven't read.
That's on my list. That's definitely on my list.
I mean, I liked issue 1 a lot. And I heard somebody describe it as Finding Nemo in space. And
Yep.
I think that's a fair assessment.
I heard like Avatar, kind of like undersea Avatar kind of stuff, and
If again, it's a father-son story, and they get separated in the first storyline and the first issue, and so Dad's going to have to hunt down his son in outer space. So it definitely has the plot of Finding Nemo. It's just an adult space adventure instead of an underwater kids story. I enjoyed issue 1 of Invisible Woman. I grabbed issue 2. I'm excited to read it. Much like Lois Lane, you've got a classic female character partnered with an espionage character, and I'm excited to read that one as well. And then the 2 big Marvel events I had to grab. So I did the Art Germ Absolute Carnage cover. I did read this one, and I thought it was really good. I was really worried. $8. I don't like the character of Carnage. I bought it for one reason, because I loved the Cult of Carnage with John Jameson as the central character.
Oh, Manuel.
And I wanted more of it. And dude, he's in
there. Yeah, dude.
So awesome. So I was that if he hadn't shown up, I was legit saying, I'll just buy the one and not read the. He showed up. Now I got to buy issue 2.
And it was like 3 issues long. It was so long.
And it's heavy, dude. This is a big book. Yeah, it's got a lot in it. I will say it was a lot of fun. I had trouble remembering stuff. Like first I was like, wait, who's Normie? And then they were like, oh yeah, he's the kid. And then they explained it to me. And I was like, okay, I can catch up with that. I don't read enough Spidey anymore.
I wonder if they're going to set up like a Red Goblin and like Kid Venom kind of thing happening.
I think you're going to get a lot of this stuff. I'm really hoping for the carnageized Man-Wolf. That's what I want to see.
That'd be cool.
I want to see
coming.
Yeah, I hope so. And then, of course, House of X 2. You can listen to Drew Manchu's review because he is spot on, and I totally agree with everything he's saying there. I went with the Jean Grey Through the Ages cover just because you can't argue with that. I love the different costumes. They get all represented. So I've got all those. And then for book club tonight, we're doing A-OK Book Club, the part 2 in the series that Perry and I are doing. And we're reading the volume 1 of Oblivion Song.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Great.
So I reread this, and we gifted one of these to Edwin, the comic Jabroni, and he's going to come on with us because he's never read it. And Perry and I liked it. So we're going to discuss it with him. That's the A-OK Book Club. It'll be on after this.
Very cool.
And that was my poll. Oh, I forgot. I did grab Dead Man Logan. I haven't read that one yet either.
Huh. Cool.
No, Chris Barrett, I did not buy the Storm action figure variant. I felt like I wanted to branch out from my Storm love, and I saw the Jean Grey cover, and it was like I had the Storm Through the Ages cover from Powers of 10. So this was nice continuation with Jean Grey now.
Oh, man. I didn't know you were a huge Storm fan, John.
Yeah, absolutely. The bomb, my favorite Marvel female character. She's second to Wonder Woman, who is
I got some pretty badass Storm
the
covers
greatest
today.
female character in comics for me. You have some badass Storm books?
I do.
Respect the Drew Manchu. So, JD, you said you didn't read much this week, right? Oh, he's not there. Let's just jump to Drew then. Let's jump to Drew. Drew, what have you been reading this week, man?
Oh, man. I got a lot of stuff that I didn't get a chance to read yet because I've been putting in some work today. I didn't get a chance to read Daredevil yet. I'm looking forward to getting into that. I didn't get a chance to read Crowded yet, but this one's always fun. It's a fun indie title.
What's the publisher on that one?
That's an Image book.
Uh-huh.
Basically, it's a social media sourced hitman type squad, and the one guy is trying to protect this chick, and she's crazy. Didn't get a chance to read Black Cat yet, but had to pick up that Campbell cover.
That's sweet.
What a pelvis, I say. What a pelvis on that lady. What a pelvis. Picked up Thanos since I left it behind last week. Sea of Stars. I really enjoyed the first issue. Can't wait to get into this.
Yeah, me too.
And Cosmic Ghost Rider. Didn't get a chance to read that yet. On to more things that I didn't get a chance to read. Didn't read Dead Man Logan yet.
That's true.
And I'm probably not going to read Major X, but I got the whole thing now.
No, Unlimited. That has not happened in a while.
There's a really great Ed Piskor cover of Major X issue 0. I really
Is there really?
Yeah, I really want to get Ed
I
Piskor.
honestly thought that
This is ugly, and now I have the whole thing. So yeah, can't wait to not finish it. Absolute Carnage, man. If you guys like that House of X review, do know that there is a House, the Absolute Carnage audio is in the and video from me is waiting for me to add some pictures too and
Nice.
put some bells and whistles on, but it's all chopped up and ready to go.
Awesome.
And I also got City of Bane Batman 76 in the pipeline, if you want to know what I think about this.
Yeah, dude.
So I won't go into really either of those.
I passed on the City of Bane today. I passed on it. I said, you know what? I'm going to drop $8 on Absolute Carnage. I'm going to skip Tom King's Batman.
Well, you made a good decision, my friend. I will tell you that much. You made a fantastic decision. You did miss out on some really great Tony Daniel art.
Yeah.
This is also in the pipeline. I'll just go ahead and let my notes speak for
Ooh,
itself.
I heard good
You
things.
can't even see it. That's a 2 out of 5. Man, I really wanted to like it. I like the characters in Future Foundation. The art is just terrible. It's like the kids are ripped and like so muscular, and so is the back of Yondu's head. And it's just like, this is the worst drawn comic I've seen in a long time. I didn't get a chance to read Invisible Woman yet, but this Amanda Conner cover was just too delicious to leave on the shelf. And I think it's this cover is just a little bit better. I just love the way that those spider webs work.
You know, that one reminded me of the Daredevil Black Widow cover from the Frank Miller days.
Yeah. Very similar.
Back to that. I want to see those side by side. I may have to pull my Daredevil out.
That's actually a really good comparison to that. That's a good one. That's it.
I picked up House of X #2.
I love that cover.
I talked about that a lot today. And I recorded it and then chopped it down to less things. This is probably my favorite cover out of the group.
That's my favorite.
Is that a 1 in 25?
I think it's a 1 in 50.
Okay. It's gorgeous. Look at that. Every Storm fan must get that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Got the Jean Grey cover. Picked up the Scotty Young.
Oh, I almost grabbed that one.
I mean, he's arguing about fashion. That's pretty cool. I dig that. Man, and I picked this one up too.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
Sick.
Yeah, this is the I forget who did this. Man, that's a nice looking book.
It is.
It's like I like the flow of her hair, like the composition of it, the way it matches.
That was for me. It was between the Jean Grey and that one.
Nice.
I also picked up the Storm action figure variant.
Oh, that's the one that the old Wolf was talking about. Yeah.
That Storm is the the Onslaught Storm, they call it.
Several people making fun of my comment that I called Old Man Quill issue 7 the best comic of the year. People saying I didn't read Faithless or Little Bird.
You didn't read House of X, apparently.
I liked all of those, but as far as a single issue,
I read issue 1 of Little Bird, and I don't understand what the hell you people are talking about.
I would put Little Bird the full story maybe ahead, but that one issue is so good. Ooh, Turtles and Batman.
Yeah, I didn't read this. I read the issue 1, and I was like, man, I don't need to read that, but I'm going to pick up those Eastman covers.
Yeah, those Eastman covers are really sought after right now.
I haven't read this. I don't have any intention of reading it, but man, that's a cute Scotty Young cover.
Yeah.
So I picked that up.
Agents of Atlas it's not terrible. I mean,
I might read it.
What I'm going to say is I keep up with it, you know? I mean, if it's anything big comes out, but I don't mind the series. I think it's pretty good.
The champ is here, apparently.
TJ said, I like you in many ways, John, but your being brief is not one of them.
Did
you read the Hulk?
I did read this. I found it to be a bit plotting and boring. But I did really like the reveal at the end. If they just would have showed 3 more panels of him jumping through stuff, this would have probably been a really good book this week. But there was only one, and the one panel that the Hulk was in was the good one.
If they just cut this issue down to like 6 pages and tacked them onto the last issue and then made this a 24 issue run, I would have been a happy man too.
I think I'm just about done with Snyder's Justice League. It got boring.
I love that.
Like I'm not excited to read it anymore.
It's a good time to issue. Dude, Charles awesome.
Jarro is cool, but it's like not enough. Like people are saying Justice League Dark. I was like, why? And they're like Detective Chimp. I'm like, that's no reason to buy a book, dummies. I guess buy a book for whatever reason you want to buy a book, but like that, you're not selling me on Detective Chimp, and you're not selling me on Jarro. Like there's just not enough going on in it anymore where I'm invested. I said to the dude in my LCS, I was like, Ian, like I think I'm done with Justice League. And he's like, I'm like, wait, if I said that to you before? And he's like, yeah, for the last 4 months in a row. I'm like, well, it's bi-weekly. So that's 8 issues that I've been done with this fucking book. And I'm still buying it. Like,
Pull you back.
I don't know. I read it and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll hang on for a little while longer. This is dope.
Yeah. I want to read it
this is dope.
Okay.
This is really dope.
Good. I'm glad it started picking up. I mean, that, if you want to talk about a series that has had like spiking up and down issues, like really great.
No, I've really liked everything Rosenberg's done since like the War Machine Punisher stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I thought that the whole thing was really good. This is like the Thunderbolts back together just to hunt down Frank Castle.
Pretty good.
Yeah, and there's a team, right? And the team starts to form. And I'll just read this real quick because this is hilarious. It's Black Widow calls Frank in, and she's like, Night Thrasher and Moon Knight are the only ones who answered the call. Moon Knight's like, hello, Frank. He says, hello, Mark, you still crazy? He said, little bit, you still murdering people? A little bit. How's your imaginary god? He's good. How's your dead family? That's like, he says, thanks for blowing me up, Romanoff, but I'm leaving. I got no interest in joining your Island Misfit Toy Avengers. Good luck with the nobody and the escaped mental patient. Night Thrasher says, what do you just call me? And Moon Knight's like, an escaped mental patient. It's like, I think that was you. He's like, oh yeah, that makes more sense. This book's it's hilarious when it needs to be, and it's absolutely brutal and violent when it needs to be. There's a Ghost Rider sets a bunch of dudes on fire, and it ends with this new Punisher-led team, which is pretty badass.
That is
It's got a nobody on it in the form of Night Thrasher. If you're not more familiar with Night Thrasher, he's a black dude from the 90s who skateboards and hits people with sticks. That's literally all the fuck he does.
That's it.
He's the most 90s character in the history of 90s characters.
He just needs to be shiny and made with tinfoil.
It's true, but instead of being shiny, he looks like a ninja, which is another 90s trope. So you got that going for you.
I want to shout out the original OG Friday night crew of the Comic Corps. They're in the chat. Great Legend, Cat Ren Figures, Chad, Steve Wood. Thank you guys for coming by. I also saw Rick Taylor, Just a Rican and his comics. Rod has been doing some great shows recently. Absolutely love his stuff. So thank you for coming by, Rod. Mark is in the chat. I don't know what you're eating, but thank you for coming by. And Nola Nerd is in the chat. So thank you guys for coming by.
Nola Nerd, Daniel, good dude. Met on the action figure forums a couple years ago. Great guy, man. All right. Got a few more books left here, guys. 3 more titles, two books per title. At this Cult of Carnage variant
that
here.
Cover, dude. That cover's so sick.
Yeah, I was like, I'll drop $10 on that.
Who did that?
I do not know.
That reminds me.
I don't know. And I also got the art germ, the Jeremy Germs.
Yeah, dude. Those are
Got
great.
the germ gel variant. I picked up Berserker Unbound.
Oh hell yeah, the Mike Diodato art.
Well.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the Diodato art.
What?
I think it's serviceable. I think that Lemire does a good job with this as far as like telling like a Conan kind of story. I don't know anything. Is Berserker another book or anything? I have no idea.
I think this is the first time. Yeah,
the Mignola cover, I was like, I'm going to grab that. I can tell you this much right now. I would have had more fun with this book if they would have gone into what happens when he is in this new world. But I'm not going to pick up issue 2 to find out. Like, it's just like, okay. I stopped buying Conan. Like,
always a setup issue, you know? Like,
but here's the deal on that, man. I stopped buying Conan. If I'm going to buy one of these books, it's going to be Jason Aaron writing Conan.
Oh, no doubt.
And I stopped buying that, so I'm not going to pick this up.
Good. It's just the problem with Jason Aaron's Conan. It's very good. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, no, I like Conan, and I like him in Savage Avengers, which is the last book I picked up.
That's
but it's just like I'm not a huge barbarian guy. I'll be honest. That's not my niche. And then, like, if you're a huge barbarian guy, you're not going to buy a whole bunch of sci-fi robot books, you know. So it is what it is. I just like it was so middle of the road for me. Berserker Unbound, it was like some of the panels looked like the best Frank Miller had ever done. Like some of those pile ups of bodies. It was just really well produced, and it looked like a good book, but it just it did nothing for me. Savage Avengers, though, I really liked, and I picked this one up too.
I saw that one on my. I was like, yes, I want that cover.
That's the Simone Bianchi.
Yeah,
being really awesome.
Really, I like that one.
Yeah,
I love the cover with Conan firing the guns. So that was awesome.
Oh yeah, and I mean Frank holding the sword is cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's tight.
But yeah, so much good stuff came out this week, and so much stuff that was kind of like just middle of the road that I didn't care for, and really only 2 stinkers out of the books that I read, and one of them was Tom King's Batman, so that's a given.
Well, we usually do bash Tom King around this time right now. Definitely want to know what Jason was reading.
I was gonna say that's when we jump over to Jason.
Right, well,
now, Jason, did we leave anything for you?
Yeah. Like in sorry, I got some lag, so I apologize for that. But in DC's issue 4, it shows like how powerful Captain Atom is. Like has nuclear powers, dude. He's like leveled the cities, and then in Batman 76, Gotham Girl beats his ass like no problem.
You're gonna love that review I got in the pipeline, my friend.
Oh my god, dude. It's like blood boiling frustrating how stupid Tom King writes these characters. Like I hate that so much. But yeah, I mean, the coolest part about Batman has always been the art. And in this one, in issue 76, you have a really cool part where Thomas Wayne Batman is holding like a gun, and it looks awesome. So that's what I collect. So I'll probably buy the physical issue of this just for that page. But Deceased 4 was awesome. I had a good time with that. The ending was really epic. It was just insane. So I wonder like what's going to happen in issue 5. Like I'm kind of thinking maybe Green Lantern made a construct to save them all. I have no idea, but at this point, like everyone could well be dead. So it's really cool. Great ending. And then Justice League had a good time with it with Jarro, man. Like I love Jarro. He's been there just sporadically throughout all the issues, and this one is like a pure all Jarro issue. So I just really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun for me. I like laughed out loud a couple of times. So yeah, I enjoyed Justice League. Also, to go with that, Sinestro Year of the Villain issue 1 came out, and that was okay. I enjoyed it, but I think it's going to be very divisive where you stand politically. I think like a lot of people are going to offended by a lot of parts or stuff. But I mean, that's just I think a lot of people see that in Marvel. They're writing. I think DC too. I think it's just how it is nowadays. I mean, but it was good overall, and I enjoyed it. So I recommend it. I did not get to read Superman Up in the Sky issue 2. That's Tom King's Superman. Superman, the issue 1 was okay. So I'm gonna keep reading them and see how they go, because I don't know. I think it's just interesting seeing his take on Tom King.
That was your highest praise you've ever given Tom King.
Wow.
besides Mr. Miracle, yeah, for sure. Absolute Carnage was awesome. The art was
Vision
incredible.
rules too.
Oh, dude, yeah, Vision's fantastic. I think Nightwing is overrated, but yeah, there's some good stuff out there. Yeah, I loved Absolute Carnage. The art was amazing. It was super thick. Didn't get to read Daredevil yet. Didn't get to read Dead Man Logan yet. House of X issue 2 was awesome. I wasn't very familiar with like Myra Taggart. Is this like a retcon for her powers or abilities? Or?
Well, she wasn't a mutant as far as I understand it before this.
Yeah, she's never been revealed as having mutant powers. So this is her first appearance of her powers. I did that review, and I don't remember Destiny. People are coming at me hard. They're like, "How do you not remember Destiny?" I was like, "I don't know, Mandela effect, man." Like, I was like,
never played a significant part, Drew. It's not on you at all.
Yeah, well, I see now. I read all that stuff. Those are some of my favorite story arcs.
She was always a background side character.
Yeah, that she didn't register with me. I was like, well, okay.
This was the most I'd ever seen her in any X-Men comic book ever.
That's how I feel about it, but apparently I shared that video in too many X-Men forums.
Yeah, I mean,
people were like coming at me.
I recognized her costume and her look, but I would not have been able to name her or tell you anything about her. And I like to think of myself as an X-Men fan. So,
in X-Men First Class, the movie, the the girl who goes in and that's Moira McTaggart. That's her. She's an X-Men. Right after X-Men 94, she appears. I think her first appearance is 96.
96.
Yeah, she's a geneticist
Yellow
on Muir
cover.
Island for most
But
X-Men
there's
stuff.
something about her being a geneticist that Charles Xavier always sought her out because he always thought she was a mutant, but he didn't know what the power was.
Well, he always knew that she was sympathetic to mutants, and she was a mutant specialist.
He thought of her. He thought of her always as like his human thing, but there was something about her. He always said.
I mean, I honestly I could talk about this book for the next 4 days straight.
Yeah,
Right.
dude.
So, Jason, did you read anything else before I start going there?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to read Immortal Hulk yet. I didn't get to read Invisible Woman yet, or Old Man Quill, or Punisher. Read Savage Avengers right before we came on. And that was a lot of fun. One issue we didn't talk about was Dead End Kids. I'm covering, I think, that book on Sunday for the S&B Network Comic Cast show. Sundays at 2 p.m. So come check us out. But Dead End Kids was really good. It was a lot of fun. It almost has like that Stand By Me vibes, just kind of kids that aren't going anywhere in their life or having some troubles, and they kind of rely on each other and some friends going on, just kind of Stand By Me kind of thing. But it takes place in like the 2000s and stuff, so it has like references to like Limp Bizkit. There's like the bully, he has like a red backwards hat and stuff, so it's kind of like fun for I think people like my age. It's like kind of like those throwbacks to our time period when we were younger. But apparently the comic's blowing up. I guess it got picked up for options for like a movie or TV show. So like just to get a raw copy of Dead End Kids is going for like $10, $35, $20, $30. Like
Wow.
It's really expensive now. And that's just like the regular A cover. So who knows? I mean, I'm sure the hype will die down eventually, but like I haven't heard it talked about yet by CBSI or any of those guys. But
Right.
guaranteed
It's
they're
like,
gonna
well,
flame-
have we
they're gonna fan
heard
the
anything
flame,
about the
dude.
production
I
of
know.
Knights of the Golden Sun
Right.
yet?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Or the source, or like, yeah, exactly.
This
So
guy
guaranteed-
right here. This
I
guy.
think it's the Source Point Press believes their own hype,
Yeah.
and the internet seems to think so as well.
Dude, so guaranteed, like
Right.
the fan, like they're gonna fan the flames, and that everyone's gonna go wild over Dead End Kids, and like by tomorrow, it's gonna be on Comic Tom #1. Dead End Kids, buy it now. It's like, all right, well, whatever, dude. But yeah, that's all I've read so far. I really want to read Space Bandits also. Postal Deliverance issue 2 is out as well. Deliverance 1 was really, really good. I knew nothing about Postal or the Postal universe. Had a lot of fun for issue 1, so I recommend pick up issue 2. It's easy to jump into and get a hold of everything. Sea of Stars, I wanted to read as well. And yeah, so a lot. It was a really busy week, man. Last week was pretty slow. Got caught up in like
good
one
stuff.
day.
Honestly, yeah, it was a big week, at least in my opinion. Compared to last week when I bought one comic, I was like, this is clearly making up for it.
Yeah, 5th week of the month.
What about you, JD? Anything you read this week? Anything you've been catching up on?
I did not catch. Oh, I did read some stuff. I was mostly getting on Kickstarters, and a lot of Kickstarters I have started sending me like the PDFs of it, and I'm getting the actual one coming in the mail soon. So I was reading a lot of those. They're good. I just gotta wait for the actual hardcover because I really can't see those as well. But it's pretty good, Other than that, nothing big this week. Kind of did some shows, but had a good weekend. So
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen, JD's dropped some really great shows. Of course, yesterday, Golden Guys was an awesome episode. Really worth checking out. Let me jump into the chat again, say some hellos. I saw Rick Taylor and the Immortal Biggie Shack both came in. Thank you guys for coming by. Let's see. Did I miss anybody else? Comic Core Chad was dropping the link to the TeePublic website where you can then search Comic Core or just do / Comic Core and find some of the cool shirts. They've got a new shirt for Baltimore Comic Con. Of course, that shirt comes with crabs. And there's also other real cool merch. You can buy some fun stuff.
with crab.
You see us repping here on the channel.
Buy my new Super Grover shirt.
The Super
Mine's
Grover
in the mail.
shirt is classic. Too funny.
Yeah.
House of X logo. Love it.
There's a new Drew Manchu shirt up there as well.
There is, yes. I just saw that one today. So thanks everybody for coming by. Seawood is continuing to drop hashtags in the chat, so thank you, Seawood, for doing that. I wanted to spend a little time. Obviously, we have some huge event comics happening right now. I want to spend a little time talking about some of those. And then if this might stretch into event comics in general and kind of the state of event comics right now, Marvel has had 3 really in this last month here. You finished War of Realms. We got Absolute Carnage starting today. And in between, this House of X Powers of 10 is running a big event in the mutant universe. And that's just Marvel. I know Drew's got a lot of thoughts about House of X2. Is there anything that you feel like you weren't able to get into in your review that you want to mention here, Drew?
I didn't really delve into the infographic at the end. A lot of people are asking questions. There is no Sixth Life listed in the back of there. There are some things that on the timelines that don't seem like you can't really tell which life they're talking about her living. And a lot of that, I think, will inform the life that she's living currently. And I think that even though it seems like she has the best of intentions, that this might very well, she might very well be a bad guy.
Yeah, obviously, we
just a
thought about the idea of Xavier being a villain or a cult leader, sort of. But yeah, so they give you the mini lives of Moira X, and on the second panel or second pages, they have, like Drew is saying, all these little key moments. And yeah, there's an absence in the center here.
Wow, I did not notice that.
And then it continues on to this page where you see the ending of many of those lives.
Right. And I mean, honestly, there are a lot of things that dropped between the 3 issues we've gotten so far. I would be willing to believe that the critter we see at the end of time, that might be Moira. Nice. Maybe she's evolved.
The librarian?
Yeah, maybe she's evolved to be that creature that is the only one that can absorb all that information. And maybe not. Maybe I'm grasping at that, but there's a lot of stuff that this sets up where you think you would have to be extremely daft to not think that Moira had taken something from her time with Apocalypse and applied it to this plan. You'd have to be out of your mind to think that she didn't learn something from being an assassin, taking out all of the Trasks, that she didn't learn something along the way that would make her a mastermind in a way that we haven't seen before. I think that
she knows everything, right? I mean, all of her
so far,
time with Mr. Sinister, time with Apocalypse, time with it's all there. That information she's like the ultimate hard drive, right? Clearly, where this puts her in the power scheme is pretty high on the ladder.
Right. And just the look on Charles' face when he realizes what she is, you saw that and you're like, oh, okay, well, he's obviously surprised, right? But then you hear her story and you look at that panel again, drawn the exact same way, and it means something so much more. You can see the light bulbs go off behind his eyes. I think that it's also it's just so much going on. There's just so much going on, and a lot of people say that I've heard people say that we saw what happened in Powers #1, where they're like, oh well, we already know where this is going to end. Yeah, but it's not the destination, it's the journey, and how are they going to get there, and what don't you know about this situation yet? I think that based on the covers that they've dropped, I think we're going to get more information on some of these other lives that she's lived.
Oh, for sure.
Some of these other things that inform her moving forward. And I'm super, super pumped about it. The art and
it's definitely
Pepe Larraz art just jumps off the freaking page.
Yeah.
It's so lush. It's just so much.
I want to shout out Lord of the Long Box. TiVo is in the chat.
Hey,
he has to reboot his channel, start all over again. So if you were a sub of TiVo, Lord of the Long Box,
yes, please sub.
You probably are not a sub to him anymore, and you need to click on his name, go to his channel, and resub to his channel. It's going to blow up and be full again soon, but it's good to be on board right now because you're going to get the show like he dropped today about Black Knight and San Diego Comic-Con. You're going to get all that good stuff. So make sure you just check in on him down below. And now he's a wrench again. So he's
One of
back
the
to the
greats.
Tebow that we've always known for the comic book
back.
as well.
Always like
Back.
One of the greats.
We
that
love
came
Lawrence
back.
Lombox and Tebow. Yeah, I love Lawrence Lombox. Like, I love listening to their shows while I'm at work. You know, Packed Up Records, man. Love listening to them and all their upcoming movie and film characters. You're gonna hear like they're inside with the Black Knight, dude. It's awesome. So
I
please
never watched
watch
those
that
dudes
along.
on YouTube because I listen to the podcast, and I don't want to ruin my podcast listening experience.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt. I know Jason and JD were looking to jump in on House of X 2. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Like we know like the ending, what's going to happen, and yeah, it is about the adventure. But at the same time, all the stuff that's happening, it's still malleable. The future and time is all malleable, so it can change anytime. Which is what we see currently, but that could just totally disappear and change. So I don't like people just jumping to conclusions saying, "Oh, why do I got to read this? Where you know the ending?" Like, no, you don't at all.
That's what I'm going down that path right there. I'm like, no. They just opened a timeline, and what they just did is it reminisces of Marvel stuff and everything else, multiverse, blah, 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 everything else. But it's just it's in its own world. It's perfect the way it is. It's in its own controlled, just around Moira. That's it.
This one we see that's talking to Xavier now on the park bench. Is this the black timeline at the bottom? Is it like the last year?
Yes.
I haven't had enough time to really even
I
dig
think that's
into
what
it.
it's implying, but I
I think that is what it's implying.
Yeah, because we know. I guess it says year 43. Myra and Xavier
Honestly, it could be year 6. The one we don't know about could be the one they're not showing us.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was thinking too. It was probably the black one currently, but you're right. It could be the mysterious year that's not there as well. It would be cool though if it was the black one, just because it says like, yeah, she gives birth to Proteus. I'm not sure what Proteus is. If that's a program or an actual mutant or something.
Proteus is a mutant. Yeah, that it was like the first episode where she appears in the cartoon. They do Proteus when they go to Muir Island, and her son is like a mutant who's out of control. He's like a big shield energy projection type dude.
Oh, cool. Okay,
she also spent some time banging Banshee. She'd been all around that. She's Scottish, so all them Scots get their kilts together.
I was gonna say she's probably, she probably with Banshee. Come on.
It says year 43, Myra and Xavier recruit Magneto. Year 47, Myra, Xavier, Magneto schism. So they apparently split off. 49, genocide at Genosha. 50, Myra fakes death, in parentheses, Shi'ar Golem. And then year 52, House of X. So then as I guess her life keeps going after that. The same thing with the 1 year prior, her life keeps going as well.
Not what reference at all. I was just thinking there might be an onslaught something in there, where something like that would have happened.
So basically, she's dead already in House of X.
Yeah.
So we don't know how she died. We don't know anything about that.
They seem to be they're going to bring back Onslaught.
Maybe they seem to be implying that Moira can change possible outcomes, right? That she can make changes. So does that mean that year 100 and year 1000 are guarantees in that clearly she has made a decision that this time, life 10 or 6 or whatever we're calling it, she has something she wants to do very differently?
Well, I would assume that it's Pebble and the stream theory there. Like if she does something small, it doesn't necessarily affect the time stream in a huge way. If she does something big, it has more ramifications. So if her choosing to eat cornflakes in the morning instead of Raisin Bran isn't gonna make it so that 1,000 years from now nothing will be affected. But if she murders somebody, that might change things more drastically.
And obviously they don't imply as to what specifically her new plan is.
And I like the fact that they say basically if she's passive, like if she just goes and lives her life the way she lived it before, nothing will change. But there are so many things that her knowledge brings that doesn't allow her to do that. Like the fact that she was married to this dude for 50 years.
Yeah.
If you meet that person, there's not going to be that romantic spark. You were married to him for 50 years. You know their shit.
Right.
You know he doesn't know how to do the damn dishes. So you can't look at him lovingly and think, oh, I wanted this guy to have my babies. But at the same time, there are things that you don't like about that person already.
Dude, she totally got the short straw on the second life with the airplane crash. It's like,
right.
Man.
But I really dig the fact that they do her resenting the fact that she's a mutant and developing the mutant cure. I love that.
Yeah, and then flipping like her journey, because then after that she wanted to preserve mutant life. You know what I mean? So she's gone through the whole.
She didn't want to be burned alive again because that must have sucked.
It's not the best way to go.
Now,
Strange is in the chat. What's up?
Oh, very cool.
Destiny implies that they can't. That Moira is limited to 10 possible lives.
Right.
But then Moira replies, how do you know? Like, what if there's this other option? Is it possible that year 6 is the year where she tries to end her life a certain way to see if there is no more futures or if there's just the 10? Do you know what I mean? She says, well, I could test that out. And Destiny says, well, go ahead and try, but it's not going to work out well for you.
But I think if that worked, then she wouldn't have those other lives after that.
That's what I'm saying. Right. If she tested it and it didn't work, she knows she has an infinite.
Right, but I mean, if it did work though, we wouldn't have those extra lives. I see what you mean though. Yeah. I mean,
so like she could have tried it and proved Destiny wrong, and now we're seeing what she does with the freedom of, well, it's always going to work out.
I think maybe it would be like, I don't know. I kind of would like to see her adventure through doing the robots kind of life, because she didn't really delve into that. Because we know, like, I guess, like the technology is going to take over humans, and that's unstoppable. But that'd be really cool to see her adventure in combo with that. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I see 10 lives, Moira. Maybe 11.
John wanted the best part about it is I said, there's your answer, John. How do people feel about these kind of events? We can't stop talking about them. We talked about War of the Realms for 8 straight.
Me and JD, every time we saw each other, like, you just see Thor, War of the Realms, Punisher. What'd you think about War of the Realms this week? We couldn't shut up about it.
It was a great series. It was great.
Well, I think they did. They create discussion, like you're saying, but the discussion can cut 2 ways. You have Heroes in Crisis, or in my opinion, Deceased, which I would consider pretty weak as well, versus something like this.
It's terrible.
I think that blade cuts both ways, right?
I don't know. I think if
you know what you're doing and you set it up the right way and you have the right writing.
It's all about editorial, to be honest. It's all about editorial control of your titles, your tie-ins, and what works. Because like Dark Knight's Metal worked. Okay, say what you want about that story and how out there it was. I thought it was a lot of fun, but it worked. All the tie-ins worked. The Justice League story, it really worked. All of the one-shots worked. The Teen Titans, Suicide Squad, Green Arrow crossover, that worked. It all worked together. So editorial knew what they were doing with that. Like Heroes in Crisis had like a couple tie-ins, but the rest of the world of the DC universe didn't.
It was separate, yeah.
Right, it was separate. So
we would be spared no matter. Right.
Exactly.
We're not invested as much. I agree with you.
But you got something like Civil War 2 that Marvel did that fell flat and it killed a lot of titles because they made them tie in, and a lot of those titles were dead in the water after that.
We went just before that was Original Sin. It was. I
liked Original Sin.
And then I did not. I thought it was half of it was ridiculously terrible. The Doctor Strange shit was good though. And
I liked the Hulk Iron Man stuff. I thought that crossover was really good. I liked that we got unworthy Thor and Jane Foster out of it. There were definitely some fun things about.
They had that. They had the Loki. They had the rebirth of Loki again. But the other one was right after that came Civil War 2, and it built up, and you knew that the day one it was going to be. And the spoiler alert. First panel, first thing off the bat, She-Hulk and Jennifer Walters gets damn near beat the shit out of and everything else, and Rhodey gets killed and beat the shit out by Thanos straight up, and that's the first panel.
It happens. It doesn't even happen in the book. It happens in the Free Comic Today 0 issue.
Yeah, right.
Right. And then you get this book and you get everything else, and you're like, "What the hell is this shit?"
But I think conversely, I think that the way that Marvel, whether you liked it or not, handled Secret Empire and the way that everything tied into that was much better. I thought that, you know, that
Secret Empire was perfect.
right, because well, they came out of the event beforehand, the Avengers standoff. It built into 2 concurrently running Captain America books.
It did well. I'm not a big fan, but it did well. It did do well.
And it also had the opportunity of making Captain America a good guy with a side look at everybody else and everybody else's books, which was kind of cool. I dug that. And you know, you get something like Doomsday Clock, which ties into Rebirth and then never finishes. Like ever finishes.
Yeah, it breaks my heart because Doomsday Clock and Dark Knight's Metal were what got me back into comic books, you know, from being gone for so long. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, what's going on now? And like, who are these characters? And just going through history, delving in, you know, it got me back. And so it really breaks my heart to see Doomsday Clock not finished, see DC not go the path of Rebirth. Instead, they're bringing back all the New 52 bullshit that no one liked, and all these characters too, and changing them up again, like into bad ways. I think it's bad. I think DC is failing, and now there's like rumors that they're gonna fold and stuff. I don't even know, but I mean, like, it's just bad. But that's why Marvel is crushing it now, though. You know, they went from people being like, DC is awesome, what's Marvel doing? They're kind of flopping here with Marvel Legacy, and then all of a sudden they switch back again. Marvel's crushing it, and
dude, Legacy was good. Legacy was good.
I really like the beginning too.
Okay,
that one shot is everything it's like Infinity Wars through War of the Realms through Fantastic Four coming back.
Infinity.
I really dug Legacy and what it laid out.
All those answers that Legacy like that had up there were finally ended recently. So now that's all wrapped up and good to go. All the questions we had from Legacy finally wrapped up like last week. You know.
Guys, I gotta jump to go to my other channel. I wanted to shout out. I just discovered Wolf Warner and his channel. He was on the Buyer Pass show that Rod did yesterday. The guy's amazing. What an amazing personality. And I subbed his channel and watched the video he dropped today showing off the books he picked up. Awesome. I just want to recommend Wolf Warner. If you haven't heard of him, check him out. I think he's almost to 300. So we like a couple more subscribers. He's at 300. So just check in on his channel. Definitely worth your time. You will enjoy it. And I'm going to go. Thanks, Drew, for coming by. Thanks, Chad, for hiding and running the show offline.
Producing.
Yep.
Drew, I look forward to your next review.
It'll be on tomorrow.
Yes. Thanks, John.
All right. Bye, gang.
Bye, John.
See you, John.
Okay, so good stuff on that. Now I have a question here for my 2 guys who do great reviews. And some of my favorite 2 things is you 2 guys were just talking about. We were talking about, event books. What was the first event that you can remember? I'll tell you mine that I remember getting was Secret War, the first one, 1984. And I always say Jim Shooter started this thing, but I think Jim Shooter is the reason for most of this kind of stuff. In my own opinion, in the Marvel world, that's how it went. I didn't know an early DC one until New 52, or it was always Darkest, Blackest Night and stuff like that. What is your opinion on the legacy of events in comics?
I love events. I mean, people say like, oh, event overload and stuff. I love it. Like, I think if it's like builds up and it serves a purpose, I want to see it. Like Absolute Carnage, we haven't seen Carnage for a while. So now It's been building up for like so much time. Now we have Absolute Carnage. Stoked for it. Same thing with War of the Realms. Jason Aaron wrote a huge long thing to build to War of the Realms. I'm down for it. Like then you have stuff like You're the Villain or like Acts of Evil. Like not really feeling it's kind of too soon, too fast. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, it could grow on me. But I like most of the events that I read. I have a good time. I like seeing all the action figures play together in one realm.
So
agreed. I started reading X-Men comics and in the 90s, and I think that watching X-Force, X-Factor, Generation X all cross over a million different times during that time period those were my favorite issues. My favorite issues were when Chamber and Jubilee showed up when they weren't supposed to. My favorite issues were, when Wolverine is hanging out with Havoc, those things weren't supposed to happen. And when they did, I was always a fan of that. I love event books. I think that crossovers and events are what make comics fun. That's why I love Black Hammer so much, is because Jeff Lemire has built himself a world that he can play in with different pieces at different time periods in the way that they can do crossovers. They can do an event book in Black Hammer now. I don't know if they will, but the shared continuity is why I love comics.
Yeah.
That's why when I'll say it to the day I die, make mine Marvel. Marvel is comics because of their continuity. That's the kind of thing that I love. And I love seeing all the pieces play together.
You know what I mean? They really don't mess with the brand at Marvel much. They try not to. They do it, but what I mean by mess with the brand is they don't have to reboot all the time.
It seems like every time there's a DC event, it's a crisis, and they're taking away so many things you like. And they're giving you some new things that are exciting, but mostly things that you don't want. And I know that the editors and the writers and the artists, sometimes they give you you don't know what you want. Sometimes we don't know what we want. And I'm cool with that. That's fine. But at the same time, when I do know what I want, I want something like a shared continuity. And I think that big event books give you a chance to affect the universe in a different way.
Yep.
than you can in just single issues.
I kind of think it's when you go to like Infinity Gauntlet run, Infinity War back in the 90s, and there was a lot of 90s crossovers, and there was good things in every one of them. They were my favorite too. And I grew up at when you go to the Secret Wars, you keep going on and on and on to now with the War of the Realms and everything else. I think it's great that we have been burned, but I don't think the burn was as bad, because at other times, there was never really that terrible thing. I mean, Secret Wars 2, I know it was a little rough, but was it that bad? No, maybe not. Looking back, if you remember the time and everything else, it wasn't terrible. But I do like events, and I think that the reason that they do a lot more now is it event overload. Well, I like them, but they're kind of breaking it off into different tangents. I'm liking the Savage World. I'm liking this whole, I'm going to call it not Marvel Dark, whatever anything else it is, but this whole realm of more venomized symbiotic and terror and ripping apart.
Donny Cates corner.
Right. That's really off the top. Lemire, all these guys that's really Cullen Bunn, stuff that makes your psychiatrist say, you are coming back. But and then you have the other half of Marvel, and then you've got the cute stuff. Dan Slott's writing again, stuff like that. Yay!
You got classic Fantastic Four from the '60s style storytelling.
Right, it's fun. You can do. I'm not knocking it. I love that shit. I buy a lot of that. Jason Aaron's Conan is such a, and then you've got something else that's up there called Squirrel Girl or something like that. You're like, oh. See,
I'm a big fan of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I love that book.
No, I remember when we talked about that book one time. I'm like, it is a great book. I agree with you. It is.
It's not a book for a 36-year-old man. It's not.
Total.
But I really enjoy it. I think that it's well written. I enjoy the humor in it. And I enjoy seeing Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur show up in other events. I loved Inhumans versus X-Men because all the new Inhumans that they've done away with at this point got a chance to shine and really be the heroes of that book. I thought that was a lot of fun. But it's the thing I love the most about big events is the fish out of water type comedy that comes from crossing these characters over. It's the same thing I love about seeing Infinity War. The stakes are high. I mean, in the movies, the stakes are high. People are dying, and this is a very serious thing, but there's still so much humor to be gained from Rocket talking to Thor.
Yeah,
I feel the exact same way. I think my favorite part of War of the Realms was just Punisher being there.
Oh yeah.
It's like Frank Frank's inner monologue while he was doing dumb Asgardian shit. And he's just like,
He's in
what
his
am I
zone.
doing here?
Yeah, war.
I
Yeah,
also did like Daredevil was so good in
Oh, that
war.
was
Right.
That was up there.
And you don't expect that. You don't expect Daredevil to be the thing that shines in a Thor crossover.
Yeah, for like most of these, it's like, yeah, the character interactions who normally wouldn't interact with each other. It's so awesome to see these different characters talking to each other you wouldn't see often. Where it failed, one of them before that comes to mind was Justice League No Justice. You had all these separate teams of good guys and bad guys, and I was really hoping each book would focus on each team and have these character interactions that you wouldn't see before. Instead, you just have like one top tier character from each group talking to each other every now and then. You didn't get any cool interactions. I thought it was really boring.
It was kind of boring.
In space. Yeah, exactly. So it sucked. But like, it's so cool to see all the toys together. Let's see something happen. Let's see them interact. And it sucks when that doesn't happen.
Well, the cool thing about No Justice, and I will give it this, is it was less about giving you a story and more about setting up where the other stories are going to go moving forward.
Right.
I thought that it really set up the Justice League Dark team in a way that I know a lot of people are enjoying that book. I read it. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I dropped it immediately, but I think that a lot of people really dug that team. I hear the exact same thing about Justice League Odyssey, which I never gave the time of day. I don't have enough money to be spending on all these DC books, and I'm not going to like.
I love it. They're both so good. I love them.
I just, I just think that that did a good job setting something else up, not in a way that like Bendis's Man of Steel, which was like the event that launched his run, just let me know that I wanted nothing to do with that shit.
It's so bad. Yeah, agreed.
So nice. I appreciate everybody being here. We are the Unlimited Grow. I'm going to shout out the chat before we close it out here. I did want to say one thing. Next week we are having a guest. We are having the artist and the writer of this book here, Magnus the Brave. Issue 2 is at issue 1's here. I'm going to be doing a giveaway for one of these signed by both the artist and writer. They're going to be coming on our show. Going to discuss the book. Number 2 is a Kickstarter right now. I did it. I'm not asking any. If you want to do it, do it.
Are those available on Comixology? Can I read them digitally?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll check it out. I'll see if it is.
You're much more technology than me. But anyway, here you go. So it's good. It's really good. I showed this panel before. I don't think people. This is just. This guy's getting sliced in half.
Sweet.
Right on. So it's just sweet stuff. So I appreciate that. Thank you guys. He'll be here next week. I'm going to confirm everything. Let's hope everything goes through okay.
Okay.
We're real excited about that. Shout out to the chat here, Jason Smith. Very good. The Great Legend. Thanks for being here. And I've watched you on the here. I can finally see the chat and everything was going so well. Chris Barrett again. One's my favorite there from the Golden Guys. C. Woodard. Great having him here. Chris, Caleb, been here since the beginning, gonna be here since the end. And here, aggressively relaxing. The Silent Squirrel Girl. Well, good
Squirrel
stuff.
Squirrel Girl is a really good book.
They're Pocan Joe. One of my favorites. Hey, we gotta talk to Pocan Joe. We got a spot for him on the Golden Guys coming up. We need somebody to talk to us about some Fiction House books, and I need somebody who knows Ranger comics.
Nice.
So, one guy, Pocan Joe. I said, and Jason Smith, thanks again right there. Everybody, we really appreciate you guys being here. This has been the Comic Core Unlimited. Thank you guys very much. Tomorrow, Swamp Thing wrap up, and don't forget the guys off the rails on Friday. Take care.
Out later.
Drew Manchu, baby.